Today we'll get into two-digit by one-digit multiplication, and let's take an example. 14 times 5. We will think of it as 14 as 10 plus 4, right? So 5 times and then 10 plus 4. If you don't know, for clarification, these brackets mean like referring to a number. These brackets show we do 10 plus 4 first, so 14. Now, if we do 5 times 10 plus 4, then we can simply think of that as 5 times 10 plus 5 times 4. We'll learn this probably soon, but here's how you do it. Again, 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 4 is very simple. We know what it is, 20. You add these two together and you get 70. This is why this works. It's called the distributive property. So, if I have number A multiplied by, in parentheses, B and C, then I can actually distribute the A times. So A times B plus C, I can do A times B plus A times C. So if you do 5 times 7 plus 2, I can write this as 5 times 7 plus 5 plus 2. This multiplied by 5 gets distributed to the 7 and 2. So 7 times 5 is 35, 5 times 2 is 10, we should know all this, and 35 plus 10 is just 45. Here's an example, 7 times 29. The way it comes into play is like this. We know the tables of 7 till 10. It doesn't make sense to remember 7 times 29 equals this number. Nobody's going to know that in itself. So, what we're going to do is think of it mentally. 29 is 20 plus 9. If we distribute 7, then you get 7 times 20 plus 7 times 9. So in your head, you can calculate 7 times 20 first, which is 140, and then you're going to do 7 times 9, which is 63. 140 plus 63 equals 203. So these operations, like 7 times 20, for example, we should know at this point. 7 times 20 is just 7 times 2 times 10. We can actually break it up even more. So here's what I was talking about. If I multiply 5 by 50, then I can break it up even more. I can do 5 times and then 5 times 10. So I can think of it as 5 times 5 times 10. In this case, if I, inside the parentheses, I do multiplication instead of addition, then there's no distribution. It's the exact same thing. So 5 times and then 5 times 10, because of the commutative property, the order does not matter. I can just think of it as 5 times 5 times 10. The easiest thing to do is 5 times 5, 25. Because then, when I multiply by 10, I just add a 0. So 5 times 5 equals 25. I add a 0, 250. If that was confusing, I'll really simplify down one more time. This is the work that we are doing, but all we're going to do simply is if I take 5 times 50, for example, I just hide the 0 and do 5 times 5. And then I bring the 0 back. That's all there is to it. Here's what I was talking about. A times B times 0. I can just do the numbers A times B and then the 0. So if you don't want to do all the work that I did in the last problem, you can look at it like this. 7 times 60, you do 7 times 6, and then add a 0 at the end. 7 times 6 is 42, we should know that, and then add a 0. Now that you know how to do two-digit by one-digit multiplication, in the next video, we're going to move up to double-digit multiplication. But just remember, this is going to take a lot of practice. The things you've learned in this video are simple, but they're not things that you would know innately. These things come with practice. So I would urge you to practice and practice. If you're on the app, we have built-in practice. If you're on some other course, for example, then I would really recommend you to go take some problems and keep practicing, practicing, practicing. The only thing that makes perfect is practice. I'll see you in the next one.